Okay. Alright, so for this part, you're just gonna hold down circle for a while, and I'll show you where to pop the elixir. Some people don't use elixirs here. I could never do that. I'm not crazy. So just run through here as normal for a bit, and you're gonna see a little staircase on the left, and we're gonna pop the elixir roughly at the end of that staircase. Maybe even a little sooner, depending on our stamina. Yeah, pop it about here, and be careful not to get too close to this well, because when those skulls spawn, they can one-shot you pretty easily. So now all we have on our bar, you can see I'm trying to switch, is just the pellet. So this, if you're doing the optimal route, you're gonna have one pellet left here. I like to stamina manage to full about right here-ish, and then kind of hug the left side, and straight through those guys. Watch out for this rock, to the right of that one. And there we go. We're pretty much done with that. Now this is fishing Hamlet skip. I'm going to quit out here and make a save file. Because this, I was talking at the very beginning of all these tutorials, and I was saying like you kind of want your volume high enough to hear really well. This is like the primary reason like I like to have my volume high. Like one is things like Wet Nurse when she teleports. If you're facing away from her and you can hear her teleport behind you, which is really nice. You can, oh, she's to my right or to my left or whatever. It's really nice. But this is like the main thing, because the timing on this quit out is not that difficult. It's just if you do it early, then you teleport back up to or you're back up top and you have to do it again, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just annoying. If you quit out too late though, which is really easy to do, then you just die and your run's dead, because you're gonna have to run all the way back from the research hall back to Orphan, which takes probably a couple of minutes at the least, maybe closer to 3. I don't know. So you don't want that to happen. So turn your volume up a lot. If you have music playing, maybe turn off the music or turn it down, just so you can listen for this part. So basically what we're gonna do here is we're gonna run into like a specific part of this cliff, and as we're falling, when you can use multiple cues here. You can use audio cue, which is my favorite. Like as soon as you hear your character thud, you just quit out like a split second after. Or you can kind of watch the whole screen, and it kind of like separates from your character. It's hard to explain. Once that happens, that's relatively when you want to quit out. And you can just straight up watch your character hit the ground. So try and use all the cues together to make this easier. What we're gonna do is, like, we just came out of the elixir, right? We're gonna be sprinting this whole way. I'm not sprinting right now, but we're gonna be sprinting this whole way. We're going this general direction, and roughly here-ish, we're gonna be running into that part of the cliff or the rock, I guess. And our character's gonna run into it, and they're gonna slide down, and they're gonna hit right down there at the bottom, like just off to the right of my screen. At the bottom of that rock. So like right the tip of my gun roughly is where we're gonna hit. And when we hit there, listen for it, and also watch what the screen does. And once I hear the thud, I'm gonna wait just a split second and I'm gonna quit out. So we're just gonna run here, run like so, pull up our quit out menu, and we listen for the thud, and then we quit out immediately. Like I said, too early, you gotta redo it. Too late, you die and you're sad. So that if anything could have been a little bit late, but it might be okay. It's pretty much as soon as you hear the hit, you want to have quit out. So now we spawn back in, or out of bounds, and now you can run and jump on top of the rock there, or you can do what I'm about to do and just kind of like zip up it like so. It's a little bit awkward. I don't know how to explain it other than just like run the line that I'm running, and it doesn't always work for me. So you just kind of run up like so, and you can go here, and then you roll into this rock. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a really peachy way to do it. Let's start over though. So we're running up here. Let's see if we can get the instant run up like so, and then once I get to about here-ish, there's a line in the rock, like right above where my hat is. You can see the line straight above the left side of the hat. I basically run just to the left of that part in the wall from about here-ish and go straight into it, just full sprint, like so. And then you run this way towards Orphan. So I'm gonna do that a few times so we can show if we're consistent with the skip. But yeah, I think the best cue is like while watching your character actually about to land, listen really closely, have your volume high, turn your music down, and listen really closely for the actual thud onto the ground, and quit out just right after that. I'll show this at least probably 2 more times. But I mean, I feel like if you try and quit out too late, then you'll just die right then and there, or sometimes you'll quit out too late and you'll still be able to quit out, but when you come back in, you're hearing yourself scream. So run about here-ish. You hear the thud, quit out. Like when you're practicing this, if you get it multiple times in a row, like intentionally screw it up like early and late then, so you can know what it feels like to avoid it. But you don't do that. Okay, so run up about here-ish. Run in about here, just to the left of that line. You can do it all quickly too. We're going fast. Fast boys. I mean, we're going slow. Oops. Just talking out of my butt right now. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, one more time. Do you hear the thud? Quit out. There's actually an older version of the skip as well, which a lot of people may have already seen, but you like kind of go down below in the middle of the building, drop through a hole in the floor, and do like a jump and do a no quit out version of this. It's significantly faster, but there's also that as an option if you want, and then run through just to the left of that crack. All right, now it's Orphan time. Use your own judgment here if you actually want to heal up from the fall. I mean, we lost whatever 50-ish health. I'm gonna opt to heal just for the sake of not getting one shot by things that normally wouldn't. Okay, Orphan is another one of those fights. So we can... I could spend hours and hours on this guy. Probably the hardest fight in the game to me, honestly. With the speed strats. Because like things can just go so wrong so quickly. I can't punish every single attack he does. I can punish a lot of them though. But I'll actually show the legit way to fight him, and then I'm gonna try and go get some knives and show the Orphan cheese as well. I didn't think about that earlier. I should have bought some. That's fine. I should have enough echoes right now to buy enough anyway. I just need like, I don't know, 6, 7 knives. Something like that. Maybe 8. I don't know. I haven't really fought him with cheese with these stats, so I'm not sure. Alright, so save file is made, so let's do Orphan. You're gonna get one of 2 openers. You're gonna get a drag attack or you're gonna get a jump attack. Jump attack's super easy to punish. Drag attack, what you wanna do is basically, let me find one of these guys to use as an example. Okay, pretend this is Orphan here. If we're like running toward him, like we just popped our pellet and we're running toward him, he gives us a drag attack opener. You wanna kinda loop around him about 270 degrees. Keep going. Hold on, I can't get past this thing. Oh my god. Okay, anyway, you want to like loop around. I couldn't get past his hitbox, like almost all the way, about full 270 around him, and queue up your backstab with not a tricked weapon. Is what your bulk of your damage, or pretty much all your damage, is going to come from backstab into another charged R2. That's not only building up a ton of meter, but it's doing a shit ton of damage to him. So yeah, like he gives you the drag attack opener, we're just running around about so. Boom. And you don't, I would highly suggest not locking onto this guy. It gives you more freedom to punish him with backstabs. If you're locked on, it kind of limits which direction you can take it, and so you miss a lot. So yeah, jump attack or drag attack, whichever one he gives you, punish it. If he gives you the jump attack, I'll show you roughly where to just walk over to and punish. It's really simple. So yeah, don't pop your pellet yet, just run into the fight. Pop your pellet about here-ish and just keep sprinting this direction. Run around him almost fully, kind of angle that just right. And now you kind of want to bump into him and then pull back. And then these attacks, I don't know, I can't spend hours trying to explain how to punish him. Just practice this guy a lot with like a BL4 character or something. Just be able to loop around him for that punish. And then now he's at a good health to where we can actually... Okay, let his head dip down for just a second, then R1, L1. And then queue up another R1, or R2, L1, and then do one more. And then you can just miss run. That's like the earliest transition he can do. He was like right at 50%. That's bullshit RNG. I can't spend a long time like trying to explain all of his punishes for backstabs. There's certain ones you can sort of, like when he does them, depending on your positioning, he'll do very specific follow-ups that you can punish. And a lot of times you can sort of walk around him for a backstab. You can sort of like walk away from him until he's done with his main combo and then sprint toward him and wrap back around quickly. It's hard to explain, but there's actually some really good like GIFs and stuff and videos on every different punish you can do. This is probably the most stressful part of the run for me because I'm not that great at him. That's why I'm going to show the Orphan cheese, the knife cheese too, which is a lot easier. It doesn't lose that much time. The biggest part of the time loss really is just from having to buy the damn knives. Okay, so jump opener, you just kind of like whip backwards a little bit. Do double R2. Kind of get close to him, pull back. You can actually punish this, I just wasn't ready for it. This you want to dash into and get behind him. Double backstab. Now he's at the threshold where he can start butt scratching. So I'm going to try and butt scratch here. Okay, let's do it now. Okay. I guess not. Maybe now? We're going to butt scratch. Just square, by the way. If you're reusing an item you already have popped, or gonna walk away from this, kind of sprint in toward him, wrap around tightly. Don't be locked on. Try and get another butt scratch here. You see the fight was so slow that our meter fell off. Yeah, that was just sloppy. Yeah, I don't know how to... If I like had a video of like several good fights of me fighting him, then I could just like go slowly through them, like play it at a slow speed and try and explain what I'm doing, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, your best bet is to look up actual Orphan guide videos, but I'll go into detail on the Orphan cheese though. I just don't know how to explain this. Just other than just wrap around about 270, Cue up the backstab. Kind of bump into him and move back. Bait these attacks like so. Wrap around him. Cue up the backstab. Bump into him a little bit. Walk away. Now sprint into him. Wrap around tightly. He's probably going to transition here soon. Run toward him. Go ahead and butt scratch. He's going to give us a good fight. Yep. Sprint toward him. You should have like one hit left here. You can actually just like smack him real quick. And then as he's dying, get your hunter mark ready. As soon as you see prey slaughtered, you can go ahead and queue that up like such. I'm going to show the legit fight a couple more times. I'm trying to talk through it as I'm doing it. It's just, I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense. You can punish so many of his attacks. It's insane, actually. Like, honestly, in his first phase, I think you can backstab punish, like, pretty much everything, except maybe, like, one attack. I just don't know how to punish all of them. I'm not super good at him. Phase 2 is a good reason not to do Orphan legit, though. Phase 2 is so bad that I would highly encourage, if you're just learning this game and your time is shitty, just fucking knife cheese him. Like, no... Just don't fight him legit. He's fucking hard. I don't care what anybody says. We can't butt scratch yet. He's too high. Gonna try and get behind him here to backstab. So that's kind of an awkward attack. We kind of like iframed it with the dash there. Now gonna run toward him a bit. Go ahead and butt scratch about there. Double backstab. Bump into him. Okay, now watch his head dip down for just a second, and then queue up the backstab into L1. Let your stamina get about half-ish. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I hate fighting this guy legit. It gets so crazy so quickly. I don't know how to fight him in phase 2. He scares me. You can see how much time you can lose though. Like, we're probably gonna lose, if this was a run, we'd probably lose like, already lost like 30 plus seconds and I haven't even hit him yet again. But if you do the knife cheese, you don't have to ever worry about this happening unless you fuck up the knife cheese, which is, it's not that bad. Once you learn it, it's just a little bit of a pain to learn. The reason I messed all that up though is he did transition kind of early, but also I messed up the follow-up. So like when he's transitioning like that, the rotation is charged R2 into L1. That staggers him. As soon as you get half stamina again, do another charge R2 into L1. And then once your stamina comes up just a little bit, enough to do any attack, you do a charge R2 into a visceral, if he has that much health left. That's like the lockout rotation for early phase 2 transition. The thing is though, if he like goes, like say he transitions to phase 2, he does his explosion, you iframe it, you get in position, he puts his head down for just a second, you queue up your R2. If he decides to do insta lightning, that R2 is not going to actually stagger him, and the whole thing's just like thrown off. So like a lot of bad things can happen if he decides to screw you over with the transition early. So go ahead and pop your pellet. Run toward this direction, wrap around, gonna aim this correctly for the backstab. Okay, I turned the direction I did not expect. I kind of dash into this, backstab. The way he twists his body can make it really awkward to backstab him sometimes. Just be mindful of that. Now it's a butt scratch bait. Kind of walk away from this one. There's multiple ways to like maneuver around that particular combo right there. That's the way I do it though. Run Warden, Blood Scratch. You should be able to like finish him off here. Okay, he didn't have enough. So swap to your hunter mark. As soon as you see prey slaughtered, go ahead and mark out. We'll do it once more, and then I'm gonna do the cheese, I guess. Yeah, please. If not the entire game, at least try and get to the DLC. Like go like start a new character, do like Gascoigne, BSB, Amelia, and then go into the DLC and make a save file. Or something. Or maybe you want to get a +10 early, I guess, but try and do the DLC at least somehow, some way at BO4. Or do a +0 weapon on a lot of these bosses. You'll learn a lot. Or you'll cry and quit the game. Not sure which. Okay, so run up about here. Pop your pellet. Nice, easy jump. See, like we barely have to move for that. We just kind of like turn our character around and punish that. Kind of pull away from that one, run around him. You gotta be, you know, you gotta angle these backstabs really extremely sometimes if you're in a sort of a bad position. Okay, watch his head. Let it dip down for just a second. This is exactly what I was talking about. See how he decided to lightning me? So that makes it where our whole thing doesn't work. I'm not gonna go into detail about phase 2. But just know that you can sort of lock him out right here. See how we're doing the same rotation, although he already was committed to his attacks. Yeah. I feel like you don't need to be... I'm not good at this phase 2 at all. I know just a little bit, enough to punish like a couple of attacks. But if you can, I would get really comfortable with this phase 2. That way, if he does get away from you like that and bullshit transitions into insta lightning, you can actually kill him relatively quickly after that. Otherwise, you're just sitting there waiting for like that 1 or 2 attack that you know how to deal with. So, okay, so that is Orphan, legit. I did him several times. I tried to explain what I could, but you just have to do a lot of like your positioning matters a lot. Like if you get out of position too much on certain attacks, he's not going to do the follow-ups that you're used to. I try to talk through a few of them as best I could with how to punish them, but there's multiple ways to punish it. You can probably figure out something of your own as well. But yeah, just I don't know, look up specific Orphan guides, and there's like a big page of GIFs of all of the punishes you can do to him, which is really cool to watch. But now we're gonna do knife cheese on him real quick. The essence of knife cheese is you backstab him, and after the backstab, you immediately lock on and throw a knife. That locks out his animation for a little bit, and then you start building up your beast meter. You can only do 2 hits for the first one. So like what's gonna happen is he's gonna sort of go, oh, and then after that you do 1 more hit. So like that 1 hit staggers him out, and you do 1 more follow-up hit. You have to do that to keep it consistent. So your first opener, you're gonna be like backstab into knife, and then you're gonna do R1, L1, and you're gonna get ready to parry him. And then after that parry, you're gonna do R1, L1, L1, wait for a second, and then do R1, R1. So that's 5 hits. And then you have the easy part of the cheese, where you just do 5 R1s, back up, parry him. And just, I mean, you don't have to, it's on BL4 you'd have to pop paper and pellet a second time in the fight because it's so long, but you don't have to worry about any of that. So we're gonna buy knives real fast just to show the Orphan cheese. Just buy like 11. You can see how expensive that was. That was like, what, 20, 30K? I didn't pay attention to how much we had beforehand. And I'll remake the save file here. So we have the knives. Okay, so same thing though. You're gonna go in, go about the spot we've been going, pop your pellet, and then you're not gonna have any pellets left probably, so it'll automatically swap to your knives, but if not, swap to your knives if you have extra pellets. Okay, so save file time. He's not dead, is he? Yeah, I reloaded. This is gonna screw up our mark out, so normally after you kill Orphan, you only have the research hall lamp, so when you mark out from the fight, you go back there and you're able to get the Laurence Skull. So this is gonna screw that up, and because I'm remaking the save file. But it's fine. Just know that how you're supposed to do it is only get the research hall lamp and mark out, get Laurence Skull, and then you can just go back to the dream afterwards. But the Orphan cheese is, honestly, I would say it's really hard for a cheese. It's hard to learn. Once you learn it though, it's not bad. The worst part is like the first several seconds of it. After the first several seconds, it's really easy to be consistent with. I use my stamina bar here to sort of guide me after I've done the first 2 rotations, and I'll try and explain it once we get going. So yeah, same opener, but it's just like instead of charged R2 as a backstab into a second R2, a charge R2, that second charge R2 is going to be replaced with a knife instead. So we're going to do a backstab into knife, do your rotation, and then you're going to do a parry into the knife. So let's try and talk through it here. So have your pellet ready, make sure your knives are equipped, and we're going to go up here. Just the same exact opener. Just keep in mind, after the backstab, we're doing a knife instead. So go here, wrap around him, lock onto him immediately, throw a knife, do R1, L1, and back up. Parry. Now we're gonna do R1, L1, L1, and wait just a second, and get enough stamina for 2 R1s. Back up, parry, knife. Now we do 5 R1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back up. Once my stamina gets just past the left side of the item box is when I use my stamina bar for the timing of this. Just like watch where I'm shooting. Watch my stamina bar when I shoot. See about where it is? Like just past the left edge of the item box. That way you don't have to worry about keeping up with the timing of his of the parry anymore. Like you pretty much just have to only do it for the first couple of combos. It just makes it a lot easier to fall back on, because when you get to this part of this is really late into the run. All you have left is Laurence, Gehrman, and Moon Presence at this point. You're like an hour into the run. So it gets really stressful. Your palms are probably sweaty, and you're like thinking, oh, the knife cheese is free, and it puts this weird pressure on you, and it's really easy to fuck up the knife cheese. So get comfortable with it if you plan on doing it, and just make it like second nature. And so, like most fights, your goal at the beginning is to build up beast meter. That's why we're doing R1, L1 for the first rotation. And then the second one, we're doing R1, L1, L1, waiting for just a second to do R1, R1 again. So pay attention to whenever we first throw a knife at him, our first rotation with the R1, L1, my first R1's gonna make him like, and then the next L1's gonna stagger him backwards or whatever. That first attack we do, that's what the noise he makes is what you need to pay attention to. As far as if you screw this cheese up at all, you need to pay attention to that if you lock him out with the knife again, because when he does that little scream thing, you're gonna have to hit him one more time after it every time to get it consistent. No more than one more hit afterwards though. I don't know if that makes sense, but just listen for it. Watch, I'll try and show it if I can. We have our knives selected. Wrap around him. Backstab, lock on. Okay, so listen. See how it goes, ooh, and then we hit him one more time. Messed up the timing on that. Let's see if I can recover from this. So dash through. This is where it's good to know how to fight him legit, so you can recover from a bad. See how he did the little aura? We did 2 hits, then he parry. Now we're gonna build up our meter a little bit. And watch on this 4th hit here. So you go, oh, and then we do 1 more attack afterwards, like every time. It's really important. So then 5 R1s, so we have our meter built up. And now, since we're doing the good combo, we can let our stamina bar get just past the left side of the item box. Just watch where I shoot him each time. That's where the timing, right there. And we should have enough meter to maybe finish him off here. Now we ran out of meter. See, so you can still kind of recover, but for this last one, I'm just gonna dash in and visceral him. And then after he's dead, pull up your hunter mark and mark out right after you see prey slaughtered pop up. Yeah, you can see like in trying to do it in the late run, you have the pressure, it's really easy to mess it up, and then I've done it countless times. I know what I'm doing, I just trying to explain it while I'm doing it kind of threw me off, so I messed up the cheese. But yeah, I'd like try and fight him legit, maybe on BL4, get comfortable with him in like a challenge run, and then learn the cheese as well, and then that way, like I said, if you mess up the cheese, you can kind of recover and get back in the rotation of it. All you need to do is just get another backstab. This is the thing though, you see how I was able to do 5 hits at the last several combos. If the cheese is interrupted like it happened there, and you have to redo the backstab into a knife, listen for his little yelp thing, because if he makes that noise, you only get 1 more attack before you need to get out of there. But it's very important that you do that follow-up attack, or else it's not consistent. So wrap around him, lock on, knife, R1, he yells a little bit, L1, back up, parry timing. We're still building up meters, so 2 more L1s, let our stamina get up just a little bit, R1, parry, and now we can watch our stamina bar. So we go all the way down with 5, and just back up, gunshot right past the item box, knife, R1, 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 the 4th R1, he does the little yelp, parry about there in the item box, knife, 1, 2, 3, yelp, 5, and parry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can just, you might just dash in an L1 here, that's enough to kill him. And then as soon as you see prey slaughtered, you mark out, and we have the extra lamp, so this mark out's not going to do what we want it to. But like I was saying earlier, you're not going to have any lamps except the research hall lamp, so you're going to want to go back to you're going to have to actually warp if you get any peach lamps, like get Maria's lamp or this lamp or whatever, for whatever reason. This part you're going to have to go back. And so, yeah, normally we would have killed Orphan, we mark out, and we go straight back here without having to do anything, which is nice. Okay, I'm gonna explain this part once. Well, I guess I could do it multiple times. Yeah, I can do it multiple times, it's fine. So, whenever we got here from Ludwig, remember we touched the elevator and then we came and lit the lamp? The reason we touched the elevator was to send it down to its position now. So what we're gonna do here, okay, there are some sort of windows at the tip of my gun. It looks like kind of window shapes on the left and right side of my gun down there. Once the elevator gets about halfway up those quote-unquote windows is when I'm gonna start my drop. But I can show this multiple times. I don't actually have to pick up the skull. So you come here, you pull the lever, you get into position about right here-ish, and look down so you can see those those makeshift windows. It's like right between my hat and my cleaver. You see the four slots there? Halfway up those for the platform. That's what I'm looking for. So get in position after you pull the lever. Swap your hand to where you can spam with index finger and roll. You can do many directions, but the gist of it is just try and get to Laurence's skull as quick as possible without getting a stored roll. But yeah, there's like 4 spots in this run where I swap my grip just to spam circle fast enough to like pretty much never get a stored roll. This is one of the worst places you can get a stored roll in. I'm gonna do it one more time, or I'll do it 2 more times just to show it. So this is what would happen after Ludwig, by the way. You'd have touched the elevator, that's going down, you're lighting the lamp, and you're going about the rest of the DLC as such. But all the while this is happening. So like all this animation that would waste time if you did it later. So same thing. Those like little makeshift window looking things. We pull the lever, they get lined up about here-ish, look down so we can see where it is. Roll about halfway. And just start spamming like a motherfucker with your index finger. Go here-ish, grab this, go over about here, mark out immediately. I'll show it once more. Yeah, that's the most important part, is find a good grip where you can spam with your index finger really fast. This part, the drop by the NPC before failures, when the big platform's going down, and maybe a couple other drops, like the drops for coming out of the central Gehrman lamp when you're going to the clinic and going towards shadows. Like those big ladder drops are really nice to have the fast spam for. Okay, about here-ish, roll straight out, halfway up the windows. And like I said, you can go a different path that I'm doing with my rolls here. Grab this, mark out, like whatever's comfortable. You can even lock onto Amelia there. The one in the white is Amelia. You can just lock onto her and dash, whatever you want to do. And this is just how I do it to keep it consistent. Okay, so yeah, we just killed Orphan. We marked out. We did all this stuff without having to go to the dream because we didn't get any other lamps because we're not a peach. And now we warp back from getting the skull and we can go straight to Laurence after. Okay, we have like 30 insight right now, I think it is. It's a lot of insight. One, we want to dump that because that's too much insight. We need a higher beast meter, which, like I said, reference the beast blood pellet video I made recently on YouTube. So whenever you come to purchase the pellets, you can do X, 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 and then hit R2 to go up to 11. Hit down 1 to avoid the extra prompt, or the extra little pop-up that says you have excessive materials, and it puts them into your box or whatever. So do like, yeah, so let's try that again. So X, R2, down, X, and then you go up twice. And then for this one, you still have 20 insight left. You want to dump that insight. You only need 3 bolt paper for the rest of this run, but you're knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. You're getting more materials to use, and you're dumping your insight to make your beast blood pellet more impactful. So just hit down once, and you can see this pop-up that we get. Item exceeding maximum or placed in storage. You can either X out of that, or you can just move away from the actual bath to cancel it out. So what I like to do when I'm coming up here, so say I have my 30 insight, I'm coming up to buy stuff, I interact with it and I go ahead and pull my character away a little bit, and then after I bought everything, I just move away and running over here as such. And then we go to Hunter's Nightmare. So we dumped all of our insight. Look how big our beast meter is. You can just see it just going away just now. And we have enough materials to deal with Laurence, Gehrman, and Moon Presence. Laurence is honestly, the new strat for him is actually really fucking cool. I mean, it's like you have the consistency pretty much of like, I don't know, an old school Amelia fight or something, or maybe the new Ludwig. It's like somewhere in between old school Amelia strat and new Ludwig on difficulty. It's not too bad, but if you can practice it enough and get comfortable with it, it's like perfectly consistent. The only issues I've ran into, which I'll explain, are getting early head staggers and stuff is really annoying. Okay, so we're gonna, normally you would pop your pellet as the door is opening because the fight's so short that you don't need to pop your pellet later. Let's go ahead and make a save file though. So yeah, like when you come up past those two guys and the gate or the big door is opening, like as you're waiting for it, just go ahead and pop your pellet while you have free time to kill. And then all you'll have to do is pop your paper, sorry, and then after you get to actual Laurence fight, once you aggro him, like after the cutscene is when you pop your pellet for him. But I'll try and do it several times. So basically what we're gonna do is the big important combo here is R1, 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 L1, L1. So 3 R1s into 2 L1s, like 1 full stamina bar. So when we go into the fight, we're gonna get up next to his knee, his left knee, and I'm gonna immediately pop my pellet. And I'm gonna do R1, L1 for the opener. Regen my stamina to full while tricking my weapon back to normal. Be careful, because if you're trying quickly to if you do R1, L1 and your weapon's transformed out extended, and you try and trick it back too soon, it's gonna do another transform attack. So you gotta be careful with stuff like that. There's I know Cleric Beast, Amelia's one where that kind of is an issue, and then Laurence is one. There might be some other fights where that turns into an issue. Just try not to transform too quickly to avoid, because if you get a transform attack, that's wasting stamina and wasting time. So okay, so we'd already have our bolt paper pop from downstairs. Also, this is why you don't want to quit out when you first get to the DLC. And you go and grab the eye pendant and you're running back down this way and he's in a bad spot. If you quit out and you come back in, like, this is what's going to happen exactly. He's going to reset to that position and you got to wait for the door to open when you get close to him. So just a heads up. Okay, so our bolt paper are already be popped. Once we get right at the beginning of this huge square where Laurence is, I'm going to transform my weapon like such and keep holding down circle. This is really important. Keep holding down circle while, you want to do this for all cutscenes, like keep sprinting. Once we get to his knee though, about here, pop the pellet, immediately R1, L1, transform your weapon back, get your stamina to full, 2, 3, L1, L1. Follow with him, do not sprint yet. Get your stamina to full, R1, 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 L1, L1. Actually messed up the strat. I don't know how I messed it up. Stagger his arm. Okay, I'm gonna have to, I think I'm just, from talking about it, I'm kind of fucked it up. I don't know what happened there. That was really strange. I didn't expect that. Maybe that's a little... Oh, I think my last L1, I wasn't paying it. I was thinking about the rotation. I wasn't paying attention to where you actually hit. That last L1 on the 5-piece combo, the second combo you do, you got to make sure it hits his right leg. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that at all. Just thinking about the rotations. We'll do this like several times though. Yeah, so R1, L1 with the opener after the pellet pop, trick your weapon back, R1, 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 L1, L1, make sure the last L1 tags his right leg. And then walk toward him, or jog toward him, like without sprinting, to let your stamina regen while you're moving toward him. But pop the pellet here at the knee. R1, L1, let your stamina get up. R1, R1, R1. Watch this last L1. Gotta tag his right leg. Just walk toward him. R1, 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 L1, L1. And then do a hit on his leg, then on his arm. Come at him from kind of the side to do the R1, L1, L1. Go to his arm. So that's pretty much perfect as far as what you want to happen. It's a really precise, but even if you fuck up certain parts, it's not the worst thing. Like, I think like worst case scenario you'll have to deal with is phase 3, or might be even his phase 4 technically. Whatever his last phase, Michael Phelps is. You might have to deal with that a little bit, but he's gonna be so low on health probably anyway that you can just like 3-shot him or something. So yeah, so we run in here, we popped our pellet, immediately do an R1, L1, trick our weapon back. As soon as our stamina gets to full, whack, 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 L1, make sure this last L1 tags his leg. He's gonna be backing up now, and we just, without holding down circle, we just like full speed toward him as such, go kind of to his right leg, and as soon as our stamina gets to full, R1, 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 L1, L1, and he's gonna back up. We're gonna smack his left leg. We're gonna go up to his arm that he slammed down and stagger him, and we're gonna pretty much immediately go back to his left leg and R1, L1, L1, and that last L1's gonna tag him as he backs up. Then we're gonna go around, build up our stamina just a little bit, smack him in the back left leg a few times, get our stamina pretty much full, hit his right arm, and just go through a full combo. And you don't really want to hit his head here, which is really easy to do, but just like smack his arm for the stagger and just beat him down, like his body or his leg, I guess, for the finishing. Because if you get a head stagger, it like, I don't know, just like throws off the whole thing. It's really weird. I'll try and do it a few more times at least to explain it as I'm doing it. Yeah, the important parts are, I feel like the opener is really crucial, and then not getting an early head stagger. Which I very well, I'm not going to do it intentionally. I might actually get a head stagger early, and that'll be kind of good to show you what happens. Because if you get an early head stagger, he's probably going to fall over earlier, and then you have to deal with his last phase a bunch more. So we already have our bolt paper popped from the door, so you don't have to worry about that. Transform weapon about here-ish. Hold down sprint, skip the cutscene, pop your pellet at his knee. R1, L1, transform your weapon back, move up here. 1, 2, 3, L1, L1. Walk with him. 1, 2, 3, L1, L1. Smack his leg. Smack his arm. R1, L1, L1. Beat his leg a little bit. 1, 2. There's the head stagger. Like, I didn't throw it off too much there because the rest of the fight was like pretty much exactly what we wanted. But I don't know, sometimes it's a little awkward. I like try and avoid the head pretty much all that you can. It's like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it just goes a little bit smoother if you can avoid it. As far as his last phase goes, which if you do the strat right, you don't, even if he gets it off, like even if he falls over and you have to do some hits on him, he's not going to be able to, he's not going to have time to do any attacks. Like, you see how much damage you do, it's insane. But that being said, I think it's important to know how to fight these bosses, the DLC bosses especially, in all their phases. So in case shit hits the fan, you can, you know, try and recover. So, knee, pellet, R1, L1, build up stamina, R1, 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 L1, L1. Make sure you hit that right leg with that last attack. Punish the right leg again, 3 R1s, L1, L1. Smack his leg once, smack his arm. I might have done that too late. Oh, it was still good. Punish his leg. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm gonna fudge this next fight up on purpose just to show his last phase. I'm not gonna show a lot. I'm just gonna show a little bit just to try and help out a bit with some of the attacks he does. Yeah, we'll intentionally mess this up though. Then we can go on to Gehrman. Oh baby, I hate those guys because I kind of pair them up as one boss because you basically want to have such a good Gehrman fight that your pellet lasts into Moon Presence and you're able to just like kill her in like 15 seconds or less. That's not easy to do. So many people lose so much time on that wombo combo. Oh, bolt paper's already popped. Yeah, we're gonna fuck this strat up intentionally here. Just try and show his last phase. And not doing this strat right. Like I said, I'm trying to actually mess this up. Okay, let's let him go to the last phase. Okay, so you can like whack him as he falls. And then you can actually hit him while he's doing this, and then, okay, so right there, what I did was hug his right shoulder. If he does a 3-piece swim, so this is a 6-piece, this is the full rotation, he's not going to do that follow-up. That he can roll or just get like really far to his back right side and avoid. Let's try and get some bad attacks here. You can whack him as he's swimming, so you can get like hug his shoulder right here, and you can avoid that swing around attack. That you probably want to roll just to be safe, but you don't have to roll it if you're in a good spot. This obviously is just stay over to the side and just punish him right here. I'm just trying to see what bad attacks we can get. Okay, hug his shoulder here. Whack, 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 whack. This is an easy punish. You can see like most of his attacks aren't that bad. This you can hit while he's swimming, it's just kind of scary. Yeah, he's not doing anything that bad. I kind of wanted his big overhead slam. Maybe I'm in a bad spot to bait it. But yeah, just kind of get comfortable with this last phase in case shit hits the fan and you actually have to fight him like this. This one you can kind of run or kind of walk over to the side and then hug his shoulder again. I kind of got tagged by the fire, but it's not that bad. While he's swimming, you can either hit him or heal up if he took some damage. Roll that just in case if you don't want to get hit by the fire, then hug his shoulder. Some of these are more, and I mean it's not like they're crazy hard to do, but I would say some of these strats I'm doing, like these no-roll strats, are a little bit more advanced, but they're honestly not that bad for him. Just abuse his right shoulder. But yeah, we can like hit him while he's doing that, like so. Hug his shoulder. Okay, I'm not gonna go extensively into that phase. I just want to show a little bit of it for a few minutes. But I think we've covered Laurence enough. If you just practice his strat, and even if you fuck it up a little bit, you're still gonna have an easy time with him, honestly. All right, so now we have Laurence. I mean, it's not Laurence. We have Gehrman and Moon left. So I would actually have more bullets than I have right now. So I'm actually gonna buy just a couple more. I would usually have around 9 or 10 or more maybe. And I would buy a few. Don't do this. I just want to reset because like in showing some things I took more hits than I needed to and used more bullets than I needed to. But this is probably closer to what you would have at this point. So I just want to get it back on track, and now we're gonna go ahead and quit out here. Oh, by the way, if you quit out like inside the arena and we make a save file, when we come back in, it's gonna bump us out back to the door anyway. So just keep that in mind just to speed up the process. If you're like, oh, I want to be inside the arena a bit, like it's gonna bump you out anyway. And that's kind of how the witches quit out works. So we like go on top of that little barrel and we quit out right when we get our echoes / insight, and we're quitting out sort of during the fight, so it bumps us back out to the start of the arena. Also, something interesting is if you have low health in the dream and you quit out, like if you like quit out at half, or like say you're doing like an RTSR setup, you had the fool's gems or whatever they're called, poor man gems, and you actually wanted to be low health and you made a save file here, like I'm pretty sure quitting out in the dream just like refills your health anyway. So something to keep in mind if you ever do a weird challenge run or something and you want to make an RTSR save file. I mean, I don't think that applies anywhere else in the game. It's just the dream just like fills you up. Okay, Gehrman is... Okay, I'm gonna explain one thing real quick. Like say this is Gehrman, this little post thing, whatever. you kind of want to... You kind of do this like yo-yo thing with him. Like, I'm gonna be locked onto him while I'm doing it, so it's hard to show it, but to bait his attacks, you want to kind of move toward him and then move away a little bit at like a sweet spot, and that'll like because if you're constantly just at the same distance, like moving away from him, he tends to go passive. So you kind of want to do this like yo-yo thing where you're kind of going in and going out, just to try and get us to like bait an attack you can parry, because that's pretty much the essence of this fight. You're gonna parry him and you're gonna dash into him and do L1 L1 for the first couple of rotations, and from that point, depending on what attacks he gives you, you're either gonna continue that kinda, or just maybe like R1 L1, wait for him to do something, react to it, and do R1, do some full combos, because when he's about half health is when he can transition, but he doesn't always do it immediately. And also there's a way like you can depending on what attack he does and your like how far away you are from him, you can like parry and then queue up an R2 into an L1, which is like a huge hit. I think you do like, I don't know, about 500 extra points of damage with that combo versus dashing into him and doing L1 L1. So for the opener, we're going to pop our paper and then we're going to hold our camera all the way up, so all the way like this, and try and aim our character straight at him and then shoot him. So we're running up here. Oh my goodness. Running up here, we pop our paper, kind of look straight up in the air, and then totally missed the shot. And then as soon as we load in past the cutscene, pop your pellet. You see how I'm like moving into him and then moving backwards? Like, you'll notice I do it a bunch. And then we just had to parry that one immediately. Okay. Normally he would have transitioned there. Oh, I hate this guy. Like, he annoys the hell out of me. They usually after R1, I mean, after parry L1, L1, I can't even talk anymore. Jesus Christ. Usually after parry L1, L1, parry L1, L1, he's more than likely going to transition into his, like, phase 2 or whatever you want to call it. He's going to trick his weapon. But that's not always the case. So you have to be mindful because he's really slippery. We'll try it again though. Sometimes it just goes badly for me. Alright, so pop our paper, kind of aim up at him, pop him in the knee, skip the cutscene, pop the pellet, sort of yo-yo bait his attacks. The timing on these parries is something you're gonna have to learn. It's not too bad to parry him most of the time. And now you can see, like, we knew he was going in for his transition there. So I went ahead and got ready with the, I don't have enough stamina for that. I'm gonna reset this fight, but you kind of see how I'm like moving in and moving away from him, trying to bait certain attacks. Because like I said, if you're just constantly moving away from him, like, he goes really passive and it's really awkward. You want him doing attacks so you can punish them with parries mostly. So we did our opener. We did a parry L1 L1, parry L1 L1, and then we walked up toward him and I banked on him tricking his weapon. So I just walked up to him and did like an R1 L1. I think I did multiple L1s there, but usually you want to do like an R1 L1 and kind of wait for a second to see what he's doing and then keep punishing him like that. When he's transitioning, you can get some free hits in, but usually you want to have enough stamina to be able to backstab into a charged R2 again. If you do it too early, you're not going to actually get a backstab though, because he has like hyper poise a lot of times. So skip cutscene, pop your pellet, try and run into him to bait an attack, Parry the second part of that. L1, L1, get ready. Back up. Back up again. He's giving us some bullshit attacks right now. You can kind of walk up to him and hit his left side here. You can either do a double backstab, or you can do backstab into L1. Try and bait his attack, parry that. Dash in L1, L1. I'm gonna do some extra damage. So get your stamina up high enough, wait for him to scream about there, and then you can key up your attack. And while he's dying, you can actually still build up your beast meter for moon presence. So in order to practice moon, I'm gonna have to pretty much just go straight from Gehrman into her. So after we've talked about Gehrman enough, I'm just gonna reload Gehrman's save file, fight him again, and then go straight into moon presence because, like I said, it's kind of like a 2-in-1 boss. You want, like, depending on how well your Gehrman fight goes, dictates how well your moon presence can go. A lot of times you'll find yourself having to pop a second pellet, which is really bad. But you can just kind of watch how I'm like trying to sort of bait his attacks. You got to be careful though, because I mean, if you're too close to him and he does particular attacks, you're probably just gonna get two-shot, and there's not much you can do about it. It's just hard to react to. Get on kind of his left side. You can do L1, L1 here instead of the extra R2. R1, L1. Parry that. Dash in L1, L1. Banking I'm in transitioning here. Right about right there-ish. Make sure you have enough stamina. You can R1, charge R2, another R2, or you can just do R2 into L1. Okay, going to moon, you can actually take off your cleaver and reapply your bolt paper, and then swap to your pellet. Let's do moon though. I'm just gonna run toward her. I'm just gonna whack, whack, whack. Try and hit her head a bunch. You can stagger her head. You can stagger her body. So I don't do like optimal strats on her because you usually want to be like alternating staggers, and then once she's at a certain health, you can just like visceral finish her or just keep whacking her head. Because after you stagger a part of the body, then that part takes more damage. So like if you stagger her arm, you want to hit her maybe a couple times there, or like stagger the arm and then move to the head and stagger the head, hit it a couple times, then lock on and do like a visceral finish or something. Did I reload the save file? I might have just quit out and then, no, I think I did load it. They can see how they kind of chain off one another. Like if your beast meters has enough duration left, you're able to go straight from Gehrman into moon with high beast meter and enough duration to actually finish her off. It's like moving toward him, bait an attack, dash in L1, L1, kind of move away a little bit, move toward. You can see how awkward he is though. Like I'm trying so hard to do that yo-yo sort of effect on him. Dash in L1. Careful here, this is where it can get really sketchy. And now we're gonna get behind him, wait until about here-ish. It's like kind of close to when he stops his yell. I don't know exactly. Keep building up your meter, you kind of skip his dialogue. Okay, take off your cleaver, put it back on. Put on the bolt paper, swap to your pellet. I like to start sprinting a little bit before the cutscene happens. Get to moon as quick as possible. And get right up next to her here. Have to pop another pellet. You can do charged R2 or whatever here. was one where I was like trying my hardest to hit her face, but I never got a head stagger. But you can see how easily it is to like lose a bunch of time, because the perfect fight would be pop a pellet on Gehrman and that pellet carries you through the end of Moon Presence. So it's like less than 60 seconds for the both of them. But I had to pop another pellet there, I think. Yeah, I did. It was super slow. But yeah, you can lose like 15-20 seconds just like that. But keep in mind, you can easily stagger her left and right arm. The hitboxes are kind of weird, but you can stagger her left, right arm, and her face. Maybe there's another stagger point I don't know about. So okay, bolt paper, shoot, pellet. Hit his sort of left side here. R2 into L1, L1. Get ready. See how like some of these attacks you kind of have to like, you try and get ready with the parry, but sort of worst case scenario, it still like interrupts his attacks. He should transition here. I'm gonna go ahead and commit to L1s. You can see, I don't know how to explain the timing of what he just did there for the backstab, other than like roughly when he's like maybe about to put his hands down, or roughly right when he stops yelling. You can kind of cue it up. Just kind of, you gotta kind of get a feel for it. That'd be one of those I have to like pull up a video and sort of analyze to really explain. I go ahead and pop, even if she has like a little bit of health, I like to pop another pellet here. Moon Presence is very slippery. Like, she can do so many openers on you. Like, she can either stand still and tail swipe you, which you want to get right up on her face for to avoid the damage and also start doing damage to her. She can jump backwards. She can jump in the air and slam down on you. She can charge attack you. Well, I don't know if she can open up with charge, but just watch out for the charge. That's one of the scariest attacks. But yeah, just basically like aim for one of her arms or her face with pretty much every attack you do. If you have to pop a new pellet, I try and focus on trying to build up meter when I can safely. Like, keep in mind, like, your best ways is like maybe like an R2 or a charged R2, or doing L1s after R1s. Like, those are ways to do decent damage and build up meter at the same time. So if you have to pop a new pellet on you, your pellet's gonna, your beast meter's gonna start at 0 or almost 0. Alright, so popper, pellet, lock on, back up, carry that, dash in L1, L1, try and bait him with a yo-yo movement, parry L1, L1. You should transition here. I'm going to R1, L1 safely. R1, L1. Okay, I was not ready for that combo at all. You can see how this fight, it's pretty easy for this fight to go south fast and lose a lot of time. I'm not gonna have any meter left about nowish. I'm just gonna do another R2. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take my cleaver off and pop the paper and then have my pellets selected. I might be able to pop it. I'm gonna have to pop it like right when we load in here. Let's see if it falls off. That fight was so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna pop it now. You can kind of like walk away. If you know she's about to do that attack, you can kind of walk away from it, by the way. See, I walked away a little too late there. While my stamina's at 0, I like to heal up, by the way. I'm trying to stagger her arm here, and then we go for the head stagger. And then instead of doing a visceral, I'm just gonna smack her for the end. There are more like specific strats that involve like, oh, I'm gonna stagger left arm, right arm, head and stuff. If it's, but normally you can just do like one arm stagger and one head stagger, and you'll usually have her finished off. I'll show one more Gehrman combo. I don't know. I don't. Moon is just a messy fight to me. Gehrman I can kind of make sense of for the most part. Moon is just a fucking disaster. But yeah, I'll show it one more time and then I'll be done with the tutorial. So I'm just gonna treat this like I'm actually gonna run. Do the full thing, even with the quit out. Move toward him a little bit. Ready for the parry. L1, L1. Come on. I'm gonna commit. He's being a bitch right now. You see how he, like, when he's in the health range to, like, he's supposed to be doing a transition, you would think? He's just not doing it. Like, yeah, he wastes a lot of time like that easily. So go ahead and reapply your bolt paper after taking it off. I'm gonna have my meter fall off really soon. So yeah, I'm just pretty much like trying to avoid her attacks when possible, and as soon as your pellet, or as soon as your echoes pop up there, by the way, you just quit out. I'm trying to avoid her attacks while if I have to pop another pellet, I'm just like trying to build up meter. So like roll, like as I'm rolling to dodge an attack, then I'll do like an L1 or something to tag her, build up meter, and do some damage. And generally trying my best when I can to aim for arms or head so I can do damage towards staggering that part of the body. But sometimes you just have to hit her butt or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop the tutorial here. That'll be the final part for the actual run. I'm gonna do one more tutorial though for splits and for save files, and there was something else. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, thanks for watching. I hope it helped you, and I'll see you next time.